Number 8, vitamin C. According to WebMD, quote, vitamin C is one of the safest and most effective nutrients, experts say. It may not be the cure for the common cold, though it's thought to help prevent more serious complications. But the benefits of vitamin C may include protection against immune system deficiencies, cardiovascular disease, prenatal health problems, eye disease, and even skin wrinkling, end quote. And this from naturalnews.com. Quote, it is now well established that by injecting vitamin C, we can safely reach concentrations at which ascorbate generates hydrogen peroxide in tissues. And it is the H2O2 that selectively kills cancer cells through oxidative stress. Laboratory studies have confirmed that high-dose vitamin C is cytotoxic to a wide variety of cancer cell lines, and that it also boosts the anti-cancer activity of several common chemotherapy drugs. In animal models rats, IV vitamin C has been shown to significantly decrease growth rates of liver, ovarian, pancreatic, and glioblastoma tumors, which, with dosages easily achievable in humans, end quote. They had to inject it because taking large doses of vitamin C as ascorbic acid orally does not work. It upsets the stomach and digestive processes, harms the good gut bacteria, and almost all of it passes through the body without being absorbed. Daily intravenous injections of vitamin C is costly, and the medical establishment generally does not support the practice. Quite fortunately, an alternative method for home delivery of vitamin C in therapeutic concentrations has been developed. The resulting product is called liposomal vitamin C, and recipes for its creation abound on the internet. I've included links to some recipes in the description. Finally, there's this benefit being reported by Natural News. Quote, vitamin C protects the body from radiation exposure because it is one of the best defenses against the effects of cell-damaging free radicals. Radiation causes proliferation of free radicals by breaking or damaging chemical bonds in DNA, leading to cell death, end quote. Number 9, vitamins and minerals. Without enough of the nutrients known as vitamins and minerals in our system, we tend to get sick, which alone is a good enough reason to take them. Given today's factory farming methods, where the same crop is grown on the same soil continually, most foods are not nearly as nutritious as they should be. In general, they lack many of the vitamins and minerals needed for good health, and the majority of the population needs to add dietary supplements for a balanced diet. Without an adequate reserve of necessary minerals in our system, the body feels deprived, and like any hungry entity, it will eagerly latch onto the desired nutrient when it is available. The problem is some of the common radioactive isotopes that are being deposited into our environment mimic other elements which are vital for health. So when a person deficient in calcium eats a burger that has a bit of strontium in it, the body sees the strontium as calcium, and it pops right into the bones. Because our bodies have no experience with any cesium isotopes, the cesium-137 in that potato looks exactly like potassium to the body, and when consumed, it becomes part of the muscles like the heart, and then, hold on, I'm coming, Elizabeth! After learning how poorly so many of the commonly available synthetic versions of vitamins actually perform in the body, I'm on my very first bottle of food-based multivitamins. I've also learned that the mineral compounds incorporated within those cheap vitamin pills that I used to take are not much different from ground up rocks and are poorly assimilated into the body. Number 10, water filtration. The largest way that our environment accumulates radiation is through precipitation, not from airborne particles. When I was a child, I was amazed by being told that scientists said that if you took a cup of water and poured it into the ocean, and a year later you took a cup of water from anywhere on the planet, you would get on average 10 molecules from that cup that you poured. As a boy, I used to tell friends about that, and I would say if it was true, it would also have to be true about piss. Luckily, we have modern municipal water filtration systems to handle removing all the urea and other natural contamination that occurs to surface water. Unfortunately, nowadays, we have to contend with a slew of unnatural substances contained in our drinking water. Some compounds are introduced during the water treatment and are unavoidable, like the unnecessary and cancer-inducing fluoride treatment that the government administers to the people through the drinking water, a treatment which is totally evil and unacceptable. That fact alone proves that the government is part of the human genocide program, but when it's added to the government's cover-up of the radiation crisis, it's easy to see what is criminal. So we must protect ourselves. There's an abundance of different types of water filtration systems, and what I have is a Berkey Light system. But any gravity feed water filtration system that uses either the Black Berkey or the new JMCC Imperial water filters is best. Both brands of filters are interchangeable. JMCC filter has fluoride filtering built in. I like that. But because they're so new, I don't have any experience with them. However, considering the impeccable science record of the manufacturing source, my next set of replacement filters will be from JMCC. Any water filter that needs to be plugged into an electrical system for it to work is not worth anything during a power outage. A reverse osmosis system has filters made from plastic, which continually degrade into the filtered water. No thanks. Any filtering system that requires water pressure to work is no good when the water is shut off for whatever reason. A gravity water filter will work with any water source that you may have. Number 11, zeolite. In a SHTF scenario, after all of your stored water is gone and you don't have access to a well or a spring, then you will be reduced to using rain, stream, pond, or river water directly, and it will be all the same, contaminated. Professor James McCanney sells a device called a pre-filter that fits most every gravity-feed water filter. It is meant to be used to pre-treat oily or otherwise heavily contaminated water before running it through a gravity-feed water filter. The pre-filter protects the main filter elements from gunking up, and using the device makes a lot of sense if your only water source is very foul. In a dystopian future, I figured that rain or melted snow would be one of the best sources of water. Unfortunately, it would be full of radioactivity and could use some pre-filtering of radiation. Enter zeolite, a gritty sand-like material formed when lava from ancient volcanic eruptions mixed with water. The volcanic ash becomes crystalline after millions of years. The molecular composition of zeolite is a honeycomb structure made of silicon and aluminum oxides. Like clays, there are many different types of zeolites, over 40. Most of them do an excellent job in removing certain types of radiation from water. Many municipal water systems have used zeolite as a part of their water treatment protocols long before Fukushima happened, because it is good at removing a lot of bad stuff from water. Another big use of zeolite is in swimming pool water filtration, and you can get a 25-pound bag of the stuff called Zeosand for under $25 at pool supply stores around here. A bag that size has enough zeolite for at least 25 people, because a pound of it packed into a tube will filter a zillion gallons or so. I would recommend Zeosand over the sweet PDZ stall refresher. Even though the PDZ is a lot cheaper, it's also a lot dustier. I already have to rinse the zeolite over a half hour before it rinses clear enough for me to use it for water filtration. Just as filtering the rainwater through the Zeosand is a pre-filter step to keep the gravity-feed water filters from getting contaminated with radiation, I must rinse the Zeosand clear of microfine dust before the first use to keep the gravity-feed water filters from clogging with zeolite. Fortunately, the zeolite rinsing only needs to be done once. Another good use for zeolite is to incorporate it into the top layer of your garden soil to let it suck up the radionuclides as they rain out. I don't know if the added zeolite will suck out any essential trace metals from the soil, but if it does, it hasn't hurt the plants, and it seems to help the soil texture. Number 12, diet modification. No ifs, no buts. Avoid consuming seafood. Don't hold your breath waiting for the establishment to inform you by mainstream media news reports about this situation, at least until after most of the tainted food has been eaten and damage done. The real news is that the cabal obviously wants us good and sick. That way the reprobates can make piles of money from the resulting sickness. I can say with 100% certainty that most cans of tuna, salmon, anchovies, and sardines which come from the ocean that currently sit on the store shelves are toxic, radioactively poisoned. Fresh prime Alaskan salmon fillets are so hot that I've heard they're being targeted directly into minority neighborhoods using sale prices. Crab legs and shellfish harvested directly from the ocean are especially bad. Avoid them like the plague. Speaking of plagues, the globalist media have started pushing the concept of a contagious cancer in the ocean. I think that this lie is being propagated to cover the cataclysmic magnitude of their ongoing and intentional terroricide by radiation. Of course, if the outrageous contagious cancer story was true, then it would be another reason not to consume seafood. Of course, if the outrageous contagious cancer story was true, then there would need to be some entirely new life form discovered, one which acts as a transmission vector, be it virus, bacteria, fungus, phage, or some other microorganism. And as far as I know, as of yet, no life form has yet been reported which could do the job of transmitting cancer between hosts. What we are getting are intentional corporate lies to the masses in order to facilitate the cover-up of the increasing radiation damage. Who is your real enemy? There are specialty food items like seaweed, sunflower products, and the outdoor wild mushrooms that are radiation hogs. And just so you know, carrageenan is an unhealthy seaweed product, so check your product's ingredient list. But after seafood, dairy and meats are likely to be the most radioactively contaminated generally consumed food items. Due to the nature of ground contamination by precipitation, free-range livestock would be the most problematic to consume. Bag feed is usually from last year's harvest, and in this radioactive reality, the older the feed, the less contaminated it is. Once again this morning, I fried a double-yolk egg. Those used to be a real rarity, but now I've even gotten multiple double yolks in the same egg carton. I wonder if I'll see a triple. Eventually, most surviving humans will likely all be vegetarians, eating food grown in greenhouses. Or they'll be sun gazers. Did I just slip in the 13th and 14th countermeasures? Okay, there you have it. I hope it's been helpful. Those are the 12 easy-to-follow simple countermeasures. Not fake solutions like swallowing potassium iodide tablets, the one remedy that the establishment likes to mention. A limited solution which only works as a prophylactic against radioactive iodine and does nothing against the hundreds of other radioactive isotopes. Instead of the responsible government agencies which are paid to do so, I'm informing you about the increasingly dire situation. I have shared some effective and hidden countermeasures that you can institute to help protect you and yours from this ongoing nuclear holocaust. As quiet as it's kept, this totally preventable global catastrophe has been enabled by Chief Executive Obama's dereliction of duty. Instead of his administration focusing the government on monitoring the contents of our internet communications under the guise of fake national security, as a real leader, he would have been working to actually protect us from harm. In a just world, we would need to create a new form of capital punishment for Barry to reward him for his immeasurable crime of not preventing the poisoning of our planet as he could and should have. I have faith that the Most High will take care of him for us. People who are diagnosed with cancer will typically be given chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery as standard treatment. Radiation, a crude tool for killing existing cancer cells, also kills healthy cells, and it actually causes cancer. While tumors can be surgically removed, any isolated cancer cells cannot be removed by surgery, so surgery usually is a temporary measure and not a cure. Most of these suggested countermeasures can be technically described as forms of natural chemotherapy, which, unlike many pharmaceuticals, actually work and do not poison the patient. Another benefit is that they are far less costly than the solutions favored by the drug-pushing cartel. A very good thing is that none of these natural preventative measures conflict with another, and most everyone can use all of them. Take care and think peace.